I love that song. That's one of the songs I, many mornings, woke up hearing that being played or sung. So it's lovely to hear it in this special place. Welcome to UUCCN, Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Central Nassau. It's good to see all of us here today. I know there's a few more people on the way. My name is John Rolicky. I'm happy to serve on the Finance Committee. Today's services are led by our minister, Reverend Petra Thomas. She's joined by Michael Sanzanita, our music director, and Ashley Davis, our religious education teacher, is in the classroom today. I started to read, if you're new here. I think we all know this is a welcoming congregation, a special community that supports one another on our spiritual journey. We are people worshiping together from many paths who are brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. We are here to help one another do the difficult work of seeking meaning, acting for justice, and living with integrity and walking with one another in peace and love. We hope this hour set apart from daily concerns will renew our spirits, strengthen our love for one another, and embolden us to bring reconciliation wherever we find division. It is good to be together. Good morning.
Good morning indeed. And today we may be carrying so many things, but for this hour we will lay our burden down. And we will gently think of how we will be together, of how we will pray together, of how we will be community together. We come together here for the purpose of learning and growing and being the best of who we can be. Because that is what is needed in this time. This time that has so many questions around the globe, so many issues pressing on us. But yet, there must be time that we take for our spirit. There must be time that we take for our soul. And here, in this blessed place, we come together for that purpose. I'm grateful to be here with you, to share these thoughts with you, to pay attention to what your needs are and the needs of the wider world. And together, we can bring solutions. We can bring understanding, because we are a people of faith and a people of hope. So join me as we worship together this morning. And now for our chalice lighting. Please read it with me. It's printed in your order of service. The light of our flaming chalice demonstrates our resilience against the forces of darkness. We are paying attention to those who wield their power through corruption versus those who bravely strive for justice. We will stand up for the truth to bring hope and healing to our hurting world.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Gonzalez, and I'm the chair of the Worship Arts Committee here at UUCCN. For our land acknowledgement today, we are here on the ancestral lands of America. We are here on Turtle Island to be caretakers, to gather in a good way, to be one with Earth's children in all of their forms, those of the straight lands, mountains and valleys, those of the rivers, the streams and oceans and air, under the protection of Father Sky. Let this land acknowledgement guide us in our return to unity. Let us remember that we are relatives to all beings, those who walk on four legs, those who fly close to Creator, those who swim in the ponds and in the seas and crawl upon Mother Earth. Let us honor all of the mammal people, the living green creatures that give us shade and food, the spirit energy in stones, boulders and earth's crevices, and all of the created world. Let us live in harmony, practice kindness, and share our love for one another. Let love be the foundation for living the values of justice, equity, and interdependence.
And now please join us for our opening song, The Arching Sky of Morning Glows, number 330.
3:30. I'll play through it once for you.
With a few announcements. Of course, please join us for Sweet Tooth, as always. And remember, even though Anita Coddington is not here, there's a sign-up sheet in the kitchen if you want to help with a future Sweet Tooth. The UUCCN Book Club will meet next on Thursday, March 26th at 8 p.m. on Zoom. The book is 1929, Inside the Greatest Crash in Wall Street History, and How It Shattered a Nation by Andrew Ross Sorkin. Check the weekly update email for the Zoom link. Reverend Petra has office hours on Tuesday, March 31st at 1 p.m. All are welcome. Please mark your calendars for Sunday, April 19th. Michael Sansonilla and musicians who may be even better than Michael Sansonilla.
Absolutely. People who honor and indulge me by allowing me to play with them.
Which, you know, for me, just ups the ante entirely. Well, they're going to be performing a concert to benefit Doctors Without Borders. It's not just great music and a great cause. You also get a wonderful dinner. And I think the prices bounced around, but the last thing I heard was $40.
Yep.
$40.
Yep.
And you can, if you're paying by check, you can make a check out to Doctors Without Borders. And if you're paying by credit card, soon we will have a credit card site set up to take those payments too. So that is Sunday, April 19th at 4 p.m. And please speak with Anita if you can help with the dinner or cleanup. Applications are being accepted for LIAC's student internship program. The Student Activity Fund makes it possible for Long Island UU youth and young adults to live their faith and learn valuable skills by interning at nonprofits that focus on social action, advocacy, social services. For more information, visit the LIAC website or speak with Robin Rivera or Chrissy Rowland. There's one more event, bear with me. So on Monday, March 23rd, there is going to be a gathering at the Nassau County Legislature at noon. There's going to be a demonstration against the atrocities going on in Nassau County related to ICE activity. The action is also, at the start of it, is going to commemorate the death of Santos Veneas Reyes at the Nassau County Jail and demand justice. Following, again, this is on Monday, March 23rd. So the demonstration is going to start at noon. This is all on Franklin Avenue in Mineola. And at 1 p.m., they're encouraging as many people as possible to go into the legislature chamber for public comment. And you can speak with Elizabeth if you want more information about that. And that's it for announcements.
Join me now for our responsive reading of Unitarian Universalist values. Love is at the heart of our values.
We promise to live our values every day with love at the center of all things.
Equity is the value of our inclusive community.
We believe in the inherent worthiness of all.
Interdependence teaches us we are all connected.
We will only be made whole when we live as co-inhabitants of the world.
Justice is essential for peace and building a beloved community.
We will work to dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions.
Generosity expresses compassion, gratitude, and hope.
We will offer our faith, ourselves, and our resources.
Pluralism encourages respect for diverse views
And allows us to be curious as we learn from one another.
Transformation allows us to adapt to an ever-changing world.
We are evolving and growing. We are never perfect.
In listening to the news, of course, as many of you may be, I wanted to share this reflection on the actions of our government. I actually wrote this several campaigns ago, but what's the difference? At any rate, it's entitled In a Wartime Memory. In a wartime memory, vengeance brings a piercing cry, forces sent to fight for freedom, shock and awe ignites the sky. Bombs invented, bombs exploded, that sear the flesh and smash the bones, and prevent a government to surrender, steal its power, underground. A nation ruthless in pursuit, focused in its discontent, hunt down those who will despise us, despite creating their lament. War-torn ghetto, holding death, Gaza's wailing at the wall, cradling, starving, dying children, weep for justice now for all. The beauty of the land is the last back arrival, 13 versus 13,000, to ensure the state's survival. Round the globe, we see this truth, lands occupied by those in power, impoverished countries show the proof, held hostage, brewing by the hour. Corporations tell the news, extracting what we should not hear, sanitizing all events, structured worldviews based on fear. And so it's the poet who sets her rhyme, and the artist who paints and draws. Scenes of sacrilege and murder speak the truth and reveal our flaws. Country of hope, principled people, founded on freedom songs so right. Do not fail us with division. Do not spill blood with might. And scarcely do we speak against you. Barely do we think to blame. Your mission is for greed and power. really strayed from the day of your reception. Tyranny has been the hand you played. But scarcely do we speak against you. Barely think of you to blame. The balance of power you keep tipped, and always, always in our name. We will take a moment before we have our Thanksgiving offering.
Time for our offering Thanksgiving. Thank you for your support of our congregation. Pledges, donations, and volunteering to sustain this place. Please give today when Adam passes the election plate, and you can always go into the website and use your credit card. One of our traditions is to share a civic election plate with another organization who work aligns our values and principles. So just to define share, it's 50-50. For the month of March, we support the Detention Watch Network. The Detention Watch Network is a national membership organization that brings together advocates from diverse backgrounds to unify strategy, build partnerships, and strengthen the movement to end immigration detention. Please give generously to help in this critical mission. If you're giving by check, please write share with Lady March and the number one. And thank you once again.
And now for a reading from Native American elders. Every Indian knows and has a feeling inside that bottom line, our real purpose on earth, is to be of service to our fellow man and to be of maximum service to the Great Spirit. The Creator designed the earth to be self-supporting. Everything is interconnected, and all things were created to be of service to each other. The Indian way is to be of service to each other. The Indian way is to pray about all things. Religion is not separate from any part of our lives. Everything is spiritual, and we are all to view all matters in this way. Family is spiritual. Work is spiritual. Helping others is spiritual. Our bodies are spiritual. Our talk is spiritual. We need to practice seeing things, all things, as spiritual.
UUCCN is a community of people who strive to be welcoming, caring, hospitable, and loving. We know that the spark of our joys can be amplified when we share them with the people who are cheering us on, and the weight of the burden of our sorrows can be lightened when shared with those who are committed to our mutual well-being. Now is the time when you may share a joy or a sorrow that is on your heart this morning. If you would like, please raise your hand. I just wanted to give a little update on my mom. I was here 2 weeks ago, and I shared that she was moving to memory care, and she did. She was there for a few days, but then unfortunately she got an infection, and she was in the hospital all week, and then she just went back to the memory care today. So hopefully, things will stabilize. Felt bad about it because obviously I don't want to see her get sick, and also because it kind of interferes with the adjustment process. You know, it can take people a few weeks to get used to being in a new place. So that was difficult. And something was going on in the hospital where it took her 2 days in the emergency room to get a bed. So I don't know if it's the flu or COVID or what, but like there needs some work about it. You think about wearing a mask. I have no idea why the hospital was that overflowing on random one day. And our joy is that it's Adam's birthday on Friday.
Yeah, let's sing to it.
Celebrated at the Botanical Gardens yesterday. Really nice day. John?
I forgot to include it in the announcements. So Rick Crane's, longtime member, his father passed away after a long illness, and they're sitting Shiva today at Mickey and Rick's home in Garden City. An email went out giving the address and everything. And I'm sure the Crane's family would appreciate hearing from me.
The other side of that is that although Rick's father passed, Rick didn't. Rick is still here with us.
May we remember those who have spoken, those they have named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts. And now for our peace candle. As a nation, we have often prayed for peace while continuing to wage wars. We love to stand for peace, but there can be no peace as long as we are compromised by greed and power. Peace must be more than a sentiment that we long for. Peace must exist with justice at its foundation. Let us make it so.
So, this has my name on it. I did not write this. I'm ashamed, but I can't tell you who did. I'm going to guess it's a couple of Brazilians. Do you know? Do you know this? Just a couple of Brazilians. I don't think so. It's a member of his tribe, certainly. Somebody who was influenced by him and certainly was, on that same school. But I don't think he was him, a song, it's the end of the road, it's a rest in the sun, it's a little alone, it's a silver glass, it's life, it's the sun, it's the night, it's the death, it's the trap, it's the gun, it's the when it blows, the flies of the brush, the night of the wind, the song of the thrush, the wood in the wind, the cliff of fall, the scratch of the limb. It's nothing at all. It's the wind blowing free. It's the end of the slope. It's a beam, it's a void. It's a hunch, it's a hope. It's a riverbank talks over the waters of March and the end of the spring. It's the joy in your heart, the foot, the ground, the flesh, the bone, the heat, the rope, the slingshot, the stone, a fish, a flash, the silvery glow, the fight, the bet, the range of the bow, the bed of the well, the end of the line, the dismay in the face. It's a loss, it's a fight, the spear, the point, the guide, the drop, the end of the tail, the truck road breaks, the song from the right, the sound of the bitter, the dead of night, a mile, a must, a flush, a bump. It's a girl, it's a rhyme, it's a cold, it's a mumps, the plan of the house, a body in bed, the car
Whenever I think of the month of March, I think of that song, The Waters of March, and it helps. Because you never know what we're getting, and given everything else, you really don't know what else is coming, but a song that can kind of lighten your mood, elevate, is a gift. Thank you. It's great to see you. So yes, this is March, known as Women's History Month. As if we're not making history for all of the days of the year. And yes, and yet given our system, we should take time to acknowledge women's accomplishments. Discernment. It's not a gender. It is a mode of intelligence. It is connection, intuition. It is care and creativity. It is attunement, knowing when to act and knowing when to wait. It is the part of human intelligence that asks, is this good for us? And who does it affect? And is it worth the cost? And femininity has been shut down in really everyone in our society. And plenty of women have shut it down just to survive in a world that punishes softness. And plenty of men were shamed, mocked, or beaten out of their tenderness and taught that domination was strength. And I've seen the tenderness of the dads here with their youth, with their children, the guiding hands supporting them, and it's beautiful to witness. And I will have to say that on a particular moment, I remember when my husband and I were in our courting phase, and he was asked to be godfather to a new baby, Danielle. And I remember him holding her and just watching that face, I can just see that picture, it's in front of me now, and thinking of the tenderness and saying, that's a keeper. These are really living the values of love in our lives. There are those who say that femininity should lead. Well, then ask, what is the place of masculinity? Masculinity is direction. It is his presence. It is his protection, like what I have just described. And it is protection that does not control. It is his action in service to care. Structure that supports life instead of crushing it. And yes, I said direction, but direction is different from leadership. If femininity is the compass, then masculinity is the engine. The compass decides where it is going and why. The engine makes sure we get there. An engine choosing the destination can be dangerous. Like not having a plan to go to war. You've tried it and it doesn't go well. That is how we get empires without souls, progress without care, speed that crushes people beneath it. The same system that claims to protect women is the one that controls them, harms them, and fears their sexuality. That is not protection. It is a seal wearing armor. Femininity only flourishes where there is safety. You cannot force it. You cannot dominate it. You must make room for it. And macho masculinity, the kind obsessed with control, harshness, and hierarchy, does not protect femininity. It represses it in women together to lead. They both lead because values lead. Care leads, connection leads, relational intelligence leads, and anyone, man or woman, who can embody that can lead. The future does not belong to one gender. It belongs to whoever is brave enough to stop being afraid of femininity in themselves. And this is what is needed in this season and in our organizing. So now that we've looked at the ways of change, and hopefully this sort of altered some of how we think about femininity and discernment, and now for the Ides of March. The quote, "Beware the Ides of March," found in William Shakespeare's history play, remind us of the haunting premonition and foreshadowing. Something was afoot, something that had turned our world on its head. That his friends betrayed him makes me wonder whether he was a leader who had bad friends, or if he was a bad leader with good friends, or bad friends, I don't know. But the funeral oration by Mark Antony leads one questioning the motives of the ringleader, Brutus, who managed to have loyal friends turn against the leader. Was Caesar ambitious? Was that a crime that deserved execution? And given our political atmosphere, we're concerned about how unstable everything feels. We are concerned about safety. Shakespeare uses the value of femininity in his writing, and we see it expressed in Mark Antony's compassion and reflection. We also abhor political violence. Just to be clear, referring to the funeral oration is not seeking that, but asking about the dynamics of the players. Who is manipulating us and making decisions in our name? The poem I wrote and read earlier actually addressed several years ago, several wars ago, but what's the difference? You know, we do not want war done in our name. We did not ask for it. We do not condone it. I think examining this oration allows us to think about leadership and how it operates, and who is behind the scenes, and who is moving the pieces around. And I must say that this oration, I really love it. It was the first piece of literature that my mother insists I read and learn to read to do public speaking. I must have been maybe 5th grade, and she gave me this little book, and I had to read it in front of the mirror and really practice it. And she was tough, but it was important, and I can picture her doing it now. But, you know, some lessons live in you, even as you get to this age, but recognize that it's a beautiful piece of literature, famous because it brings up hard truths, leadership, deception, contradictions. And I will read it to you to remind you of how powerfully it expresses the question.
Peace go with us here.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you, Caesar was ambitious. If it was so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. For Brutus says he was ambitious. And Brutus was an honorable man. He had brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general corpus fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. And Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish feasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. Hopefully we can see how it fits into our current situation. We who are working on our activism in big and small ways, we are connecting, we are marching, we are organizing. We are creating the winds of change because we must take a stand against what is being done in our name. We are paying attention to leadership that does not speak for us, and we gather to show solidarity for justice. The negative energy around our country's leadership feels toxic, heavy-handed, like an engine rolling ahead without direction. That is dangerous. That is likely to crash. We cannot afford the recklessness of war. A girl's school being bombed and taking 2 weeks to acknowledge that we were responsible and still not apologizing for it. This is being done in our name, and so we continue to advocate for justice. Justice stands with her eyes covered, holding up a scale. She's supposed to be blind, but surely she can sense the imbalance. The hierarchy of masculinity pervades in Caesar's scenario and in our current dilemma. We need her feminine energy to balance the scales. Again, I say this not that she demonstrates the values that exist in femininity, which go beyond gender. And I must give credit to Leah Van King, a TikTok influencer, on her topic of femininity, which allows us to pay attention to this concept in bringing about the winds of change. During this season, between winter and true spring, is the cracking open of the earth, where what was frozen begins to thaw, and the seeds that had nestled deep into Mother Earth gain enough strength to push up and eventually out, brushing their faces against the crust and into the air. And I saw the crocuses on the side where I parked today. They gain strength from the sunlight and recognize that is where they have always needed to be. The winds of change breathe new life into the atmosphere, and we too feel the cracking open in our own lives, in our own communities. Something gives way as we strive for justice in our organizing. We can feel a shift as forces of power and corruption pull back on their demands, on our demands. And that is the truth breaking through. We have seen some backing down in Minnesota and some personnel changes in the Department of Homeland Security. We want more than personnel changes, but we are in it, demanding more. Frederick Douglass had said, "Power concedes nothing without a struggle. It never has, it never will." We must continue to be aligned with each other, using our energies of femininity and learning the lessons of solidarity. And they will look to gaslight us, find ways to divide us and sever our union. But we must strengthen our resolve. The winds of change are upon us, and we must grab hold to its strength and its fury. For history has shown us that we can move mountains. It was the winds of change after World War II that brought our liberal faiths to join into one association. The youth of the Unitarians and the Universalists propelled us to join, and the winds of change created a United Unitarian Universalist Association in 1961. And in our dedication to activism, members of our association answered Dr. King's call to come to Selma. More than any other religious organization, we showed up. The broadcasting of the Nuremberg trials was interrupted by the news of Bloody Sunday, which changed the country by exposing the truth. We watched the injustice on the Edmund Pettus Bridge as the atrocities of police on horseback were brutally beating peaceful people protesting. And we said, not in our nation. We were a part of that history as members of our newly formed association marched with Dr. King. One of our ministers, Reverend James Reed, was martyred for the cause which brought about the signing of the Voting Rights Act. And so, with our protest efforts and the winds of change converging, we changed hearts and minds into building a community for justice. Winds of change are upon us now. Let us remember our part in history and remember to pay attention. The earth is cracking open to make room for change, for new growth. Let us hold on to that. We can go forward with our feminized energy, that discernment, which shows us that we can be brave, we can do hard things, and we can take care of ourselves as we take care of each other. We can work in solidarity. We can work for justice. We can live for hope. We can act on faith. We can heal the world. We can demand better conditions. We can, we will. Ashe, Aho, and blessed be.
You want to keep that order, or you want to flip some things? Want to flip some things? Yeah, okay.
We laugh, we cry, closing. Number 354, and stand.
I'll play a little bit of it because you know this one. We have our thoughts to receive, and we believe imagination freely running wild. We dedicate our minds and hearts to the spirit of this child, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a time to be together, and with the grace of age we share the wonder of youth, and we believe that growing is an answer. Our lives are full of wonder, and our time is very brief. The death of one among us fills us all with pain and grief. But as we live, so shall we die, and when our lives are done, the memories we share with friends, they will linger on and on. And we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow, we have the gift to believe that peace within our living is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
And before we close, I wanted to lift up members who I know are in need of our prayers. Chris Ross and Siegfried also, with their health challenges. We hold them in prayer and we carry them with us, and we think of them and we reach out and give a call. So in closing, let us pay attention. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Notice what is happening. The winds of change are upon us. Liberation is a goal to hold on to. We will believe it can happen. Be resilient, for the will to change is strengthened in the community we assemble together for a common purpose. We as a people are brilliant, whole and beautifully made. Know that and continue to grow in love. Ashe. And now for a chalice lighting. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we will carry in our hearts until we're together again. And join us this week too.
You know, they say before you judge someone to try and put yourself in the shoes. I'm going to sing and try and put my shoes put myself in the shoes, or at least sing something as he might sing it. So, over there, everybody go look over there. Not that ICE is killing or Epstein willing to send me young girls who are scared. Cheer the war, raise the voice. Hey, I didn't have much of a choice to stand trial or to start a world war. Go and focus on what we're doing over there.
Thank you.
This is St. Patrick's Day tribute.
Yes, and St. Patrick's Day, you know, which is the opportunity